I'm going to tell you something, folks, that is going to absolutely stun many of you. There was an amendment proposed in the United States Senate moments ago that was defeated. It was defeated thanks to 8 Republicans. The amendment was to the Corker, Menendez, Lindsey Graham bill, which surrenders the treaty powers to the President of the United States and turns everything on its head, and empowers the Isalmo-Nazi regime in Tehran to nuke up. And we can't even rely on the Republicans to oppose it. In fact, they're involved through Corker, among others, in helping Obama. This is the statement of the purpose of the amendment. You ready for this? To require a certification that Iran has not directly supported or carried out an act of terrorism against the United States or a United States person anywhere in the world. You got that? So the administration would have to certify that Iran has not directly supported terrorism against the United States or an American citizen anywhere before sanctions are lifted. That seems to me to be a rather low threshold. Does it to you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, much like the British colonel who built the, with slave labor in the movie The Bridge on the River Kwai, who built the bridge over the River Kwai and then was ordered to destroy it, and yet he defended it and wouldn't destroy it, and others had to. This is now the nature of the defense of the Obama deal. Now, keep in mind, there is no Obama deal yet, but a future Obama deal. And we have 8 Republicans who voted no on this amendment. Lamar Alexander of Tennessee just got reelected, had gone back to Tennessee, promised the Tea Party groups he's a real conservative. He's a lying, no good for nothing. Dan Coates of Indiana, who has announced he's not running for re-election, so this man feels he's free to be as irresponsible as he chooses. The preposterous, pathetic, egomaniac Corker of Tennessee, land developer, wheeler dealer, the absolutely absurd Jeff Flake of Arizona, Lindsey Graham, who has the nerve to attack Rand Paul. He has the nerve to attack Rand Paul on foreign policy when Lindsey Graham is helping to lead the way against this amendment. Orrin Hatch, an absolute unmitigated fraud. John McCain, who is up for re-election in Arizona, but you have an open primary system, and he is relying on non-conservatives and non-Republicans to get him the nomination the way Lindsey Graham did in South Carolina. And Senator Perdue from Georgia, I don't get it. Hopefully he'll put out a statement and explain himself. But this is amazing that you have 8 Republican senators. Is this controversial, ladies and gentlemen? To require a certification that Iran has not directly supported or carried out an act of terrorism against the United States or a United States person anywhere in the world? That gets 8 Republicans? Now, the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen, they are voting lockstep, and they are goose-steppers. We know. They're good little communists. Party first, country second. But party, party, party. That's the power base. 8 Republicans: Alexander, Coates, Corker, Flake, Graham, Hatch, McCain, Perdue. I'll tell you what's amazing about Arizona. Arizona is still one of the most conservative states in the country, even though they're destroying it with illegal immigration. That is, the feds are. And so you have McCain and Flake voting with Obama. Utah, if not the most conservative state in the country, Orrin Hatch, a fraud. Tennessee is a conservative state. Both senators, Alexander and Corker, frauds. It was too much to ask of them to agree that sanctions will not be lifted on Iran unless the United States government can certify that they have not committed an act of terrorism against the United States or a United States citizen. This apparently was a bridge too far. This apparently was the bridge on the River Kwai. It gets worse. Mitch McConnell has agreed to block the Marco Rubio amendment from even getting a vote on the floor of the Senate. Because the left-wing kook senator from Maryland, you're wondering which one, Ben Cardin, asked him to do it. And that amendment would have required Iran to recognize Israel as a Jewish state before any sanctions are removed. Ben Cardin is Jewish. Ben Cardin went to McConnell and insisted that he not allow a vote on the Rubio amendment. Another self-hater, in my humble opinion. Party first. Party first. Ideology first. Everything else is second. So here you have a non-Jew. I speak as a Jew. Here you have a non-Jew, Marco Rubio, who wants to get an amendment on the floor of the Senate requiring Iran to recognize Israel as a Jewish state, which is what it is. In other words, recognize reality. Recognize a fact before any sanctions are removed. And one of the Jewish senators from Maryland, this one, Cardin, goes to McConnell, the Republican leader, the majority leader, and persuades him not to even allow the vote on the Senate floor. Your Republican Senate is a disaster. And unless we get a new Republican Party, I've said it again and again, it will continue to be a disaster. Where you have Boehner working with Nancy Pelosi to get votes passed while he strips conservatives of committee positions. I've never seen anything like this. Never. But for these eight senators, for these 8 men, this will always be on your political epitaph. That you could not even vote in defense of your own country. I don't care if you served before or not. You're not serving today, that's clear. That you would not even vote to hold Iran to a standard that every American would expect. No, we do not lift sanctions. We do not lift sanctions unless the United States government can certify that you've not carried out any acts of terrorism against the United States or the American people anywhere on the globe. Lindsey Graham pretends that he's a hawk. Lindsey Graham pretends he has some expertise in foreign policy. He's a puke and a coward. He will not come on this program. Mr. Producer has asked them several times. John McCain has lost his way. John McCain is now the colonel at the bridge on the River Kwai. Corker is a hustler. He's a deal maker. He has no principles. He has no vision. Except when it comes to trashing Ted Cruz and the other conservatives to liberal media. That he's good at. Lamar Alexander is a serial liar. He's lied to his constituents in Tennessee time and time again about his conservatism. He's never been a conservative. He's been a hustler and an opportunist. This is what we have. 8 Republicans said no. Said no. Alexander, Coates, Corker, Flake, Graham, Hatch, McCain, and Perdue. Shame on them. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.